Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Julie Parker. I'm the Director of Media Relations for the Prince George's County Police Department. And by now, I know that you all know about this story. It's a case that bothered all of us. And we feel that you don't get much lower than stealing a person's wheelchair. What gave us comfort was seeing how much heart our community has and the outpouring of support, both financially and simply to help Joshua in any way that our citizens can, is truly touching. I'm joined here today by Captain Ken Humble, who is the commander of our Regional Investigation Division, Northern Region, as well as Nikisha Marshall. She is a resident of Upper Marlboro who heard about the story and wanted to help. She's joined by her son, Emmanuel. He's 11 years old, and they have kindly offered to donate one of these customized wheelchairs. And Nikisha really is just an example of citizens like her all across our county who have reached out, some as far away as Florida, who have reached out to help Joshua. So we're going to begin with Captain Humble, who will update you on the investigation, and then bring up Nikisha. Captain?
Good afternoon. I appreciate everybody coming out and giving us the opportunity to actually share this information. It's it's very important to us as a police department that we have a good working relationship with the media, and in doing such, we're able to put out video clips like this to get individuals that we're going to show the video again, get him off the street, because obviously he's a menace, and the law enforcement community does not care for him to be out and to do and victimize little individuals that we have. What I'll do is I'll give you a little background on the incident that had happened last Sunday on Merrimack Drive in the Langley Park community. The mother of the child whose wheelchair was stolen, his name is Joshua. Joshua's mother, her routine is that when she brings him home, he's quadriplegic, he's 4 years old. She'll bring him home and she'll park the wheelchair in the base stairwell of the apartment complex. There's no actually elevator to take him up to the second floor where he resides. In the process of doing so, it was a normal day. She left it in the bottom of the stairwell around midnight, and the next morning she goes to retrieve the wheelchair, and the wheelchair was no longer there. And obviously this hits home with the police department, and I think just the community in general, because this is an unacceptable event. When you watch the video, and I believe most everybody else has already watched the video, it doesn't look like the guy's panicked, or it doesn't look like he's troubled by the fact that he's stealing a wheelchair that belongs to a 4-year-old child. And let it be known that there's not going to be a question as to whether this is actually a wheelchair that belongs to an adult or a child. It's accommodated for the 4-year-old child, so he would obviously be conscious of the fact that he's taking a wheelchair that belongs to a 4-year-old child, which I think that makes it doubly worse, and I think it elicits a lot of anger and emotion from both us as a police department and from the community. So we could actually review the video real quick. Here he is. The apartment complex is over there. You can see he doesn't appear troubled or concerned with what he's doing. He's just casually walking off with it, kind of looking around. Obviously very deceptive behavior. It's tough to watch stuff like that. And individuals like that, obviously his moral compass is either broken or it never existed. And that's why we want to get him off the street. It's definitely troubling to see that. If you want to play the short video of this is just Joshua that the wheelchair belongs to. Like I said, he's quadriplegic, he has minimal ability to move his arms. Mom was a little reluctant to come before the media today, but needless to say, we're speaking for her and want to get this guy off the street and get the wheelchair back to him. So that's Joshua. As for any leads, we're currently working down the general investigative leads. We don't have anything great right now. That's why it's incumbent upon us to reach out to the media and anybody within the community that has anything that we could possibly find out to follow up on. It's going to be very unusual for when this guy goes home and he wheels in a wheelchair, especially that of a child. Somebody should know, somebody within the community should know, or somebody within his family should know, and somebody hopefully will set him straight. Obviously, we want to get this wheelchair back to Joshua, but we also want to absolutely arrest this individual, and we want to prosecute him to the fullest extent possible. I know at times police officers are sometimes looked at as being somewhat insensitive, but I can assure you an issue such as this strikes a nerve within myself and within the entire law enforcement community. And by doing so, that really wants us to go the extra mile and get this individual off the street. So please, anybody within the community that has any knowledge of this or has suspicion that it might be somebody, that's fine. Just reach out to us and we'll follow up whatever leads that are possibly out there. It's impossible, or it's very important that we get some feedback from the community, because we do, as I said before, I fully stand by the comment. He's a heartless individual, and we do want him off the street. And fortunately, from incidents like this, positives happen, and we have a citizen of Prince George's County here who we'll introduce her in a second, has actually stepped up and is donating her son's other wheelchair for Joshua. So, if you want to go there.
I'm Nikisha Marshall. This is Emmanuel Marshall. He's my 11-year-old son, my firstborn. When I first saw the story, I guess it hurt a little more because her daily routine is a routine I used to use when I lived in an apartment on the second and third floor. Trying to lug the chair up 1 flight, 2 flights, or 3 flights, that's a very difficult task on a daily basis. We get upstairs, we forget we have something downstairs, we got to bring it back downstairs, we got to put the baby in the chair, get it to the car, get him out of the car, all of that. So I thought that was just horrible, and I started thinking if that would have happened to me. I used to do the same thing, leave it under the stairs, get it in the morning, and everything's fine. So I just thought, it's been sitting in the basement for about 2 years. Couldn't find anywhere to send it, so just donate it. And Emmanuel felt it was a villain that would take someone's chair, so he's more than happy to share his chair. If hopefully we find Joshua's chair, that way Joshua will have 2 chairs. He can keep one in the car and he can keep one in the apartment building. But definitely, if anyone has any information, I would just piggyback off of what Lieutenant Humble said, to please call in.
What do you think of when you see that? What do you think of that guy pushing that chair away? That kind of a.
I mean, just no heart whatsoever. Just to, regardless of how old the child is, that is their form of independence. The one thing that I always want Emmanuel to understand is if he can do it himself, he should do it himself. And their wheelchairs are definitely a part of them doing something themselves. Not being able to walk or to move around independently, to now have that piece of independence taken from them, that sets them back very far. So it's unfortunate that Joshua and his mother have to deal with not knowing how Joshua is going to get around on a daily basis. He's getting bigger. It's not easy carrying a 20 to 30 pound person up and down stairs, through the grocery store, to the cars, everywhere. So it's very, very heartless for someone to just do that.
Ms. Marshall, how much does something like this cost?
Well over $10,000 to $15,000.
So can you again talk about your routine? I know is very important, and for someone who's dealing with stairs, it becomes second nature.
It does.
When that's taken from her.
It's crushing. My son's chair wasn't stolen, but I'm still crushed that someone has to go through trying to figure out those small things. And some people don't understand the little things. And to someone, oh, he's in a wheelchair, he's okay, he'll figure something out. It's not that. It's the biggest part of having a wheelchair is that piece of independence, that little piece. Everything else that goes on with Joshua, his mom or family has to do. If he has to get fed, if he has to get bathed, it's something someone else is doing. So for them to have some small part of control in their life, that's what their wheelchairs do.
Anything else?
Some people wonder why didn't the mother take the wheelchair to the apartment. These are heavy, they're cumbersome,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
You can't just tote them up
Yes,
flight of
ma'am.
stairs.
They are light, but at the same time, like I said earlier, if we get upstairs, we have to leave the baby upstairs. We have to go back downstairs. We have to get the chair. Oh my God, I forgot something at the store. We have to take the chair back down, leaving the baby in the apartment, get the baby from the apartment, put the baby in the chair, get the baby to the car, get the baby in the car, put the chair in the car. I mean, this is an everyday regiment. So to break someone's chain like that, it just completely ruins a world, honestly. It takes away a bit of that freedom that they had. And to have to lug it upstairs with no elevator, that's not easy. Emmanuel's power chair definitely will not get picked up. That chair is honestly light, but at the same time, just the lugging up and down 2 to 3 times a day, that's wearing on your back.
Could you tell us about Emmanuel and his chair and maybe what some of your discussions this morning were like, talking to him about, hey, we're going to help somebody?
I honestly just told him when I picked him up from school, and when I woke up this morning, I saw the story and I was like, okay, well, let's see. I thought maybe the child was older, so I didn't think his chair would help. And then when I saw how old Joshua was, I was like, oh my goodness. So let's see. So I went to pick him up. I logged in to Facebook, and I found a page, and I found the tip line. So I called the tip line, and I basically said, I don't have a tip about who stole it, but I have a chair, and I need someone to talk to see about getting them the chair. And I got connected with Lieutenant Dooley and Ms. Parker, and it just went on from there. And then I just decided to pick Emmanuel up, and I said, well, we're going to meet somebody. Someone stole this little boy's chairs. Oh, that's horrible. So even he understands not having his chair, what that does. So, yes.
Could you tell us, first of all, where you saw the video?
On the news.
What channel, out of curiosity? And then the other thing is, can you describe for us how you felt? I mean, can you tell me how you felt in your heart the first time you saw the video?
I honestly shed a tear. It was because the situation was so similar, it really hit home. We purchased our home in 2010. So 2009, I was doing the same thing, rolling Emmanuel in our apartment building, leaving the chair under the steps, taking Emmanuel upstairs. So if I ever came downstairs to no chair, I would be ruined. He wouldn't be able to go to school. He wouldn't be able to socialize with his friends. I mean, so to take away one little piece of equipment, the ripple effect, it extends far beyond just rolling somebody around. So it's definitely heartbreaking to see this. And I mean, no remorse, it's like it was his, like he was supposed to do that. So it kind of speaks to the type of person he is. I mean, no heart whatsoever. Regardless of how old they thought the person was, it's someone's wheelchair. Period.
How do you think Emmanuel would feel about talking to us?
He gets a little overborne, so if you may want to take it slow, yes, I appreciate that.
I will let you know that I just told Emmanuel that he was a sweet boy, and he said, I know.
How old's Emmanuel again?
11.
And school?
Marlton Elementary School.
Very good.
Will you spell your name for us, ma'am?
Nikisha. Last name Marshall with 2 L's.
And Emmanuel's name?
Emmanuel Marshall. Emmanuel. I am the only Nikki with Nikki in her name. Nikisha. Nicole, no. Nicolette, no. Sorry, any Nicoles or Nicolettes.
Thank you guys very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Julie, if I can just, one more thing, and to the officer here. We have had, and I think other stations too, have had people reach out to us and say, how can we help? Now, Ms. Marshall has stepped forward, and that's wonderful. Are there other things that people can do to assist?
I think especially calling upon the community within Langley Park is going to be imperative because, A, there are a lot of people out, even at the time that this individual stole that. People see something, and like I said before, you come home with a wheelchair that you've never had before, somebody knows something. It's somebody can pick up the phone and call. A neighbor might have seen something, a family member. Let's just do the right thing and get the wheelchair back to Joshua. It's great that she's actually donated one, but still, let's do the right thing from a moral standpoint, and let's get it back to him. And I have a picture of the wheelchair. I'll hold it up now, but feel free to actually go ahead and take a picture after the press conference is over. But just be mindful of the fact the whole wheelchair is blue. There's a little bit of purple in this one, but this is the one that actually belongs to Joshua. So by looking at that, you can say this guy absolutely with 100% certainty knew this belonged to a child as opposed to an adult. So in my opinion, that makes it that much more worse. So you don't prey upon any handicapped victim. And then when you add a child into the mix, yes, it's unsettling, to say the least.
And it may sound crazy, but is there a market for the medical devices like this one? Do you think that might be playing a role?
I don't really believe so. Medical devices such as this obviously are very costly. His wheelchair, I believe, is in the ballpark of $2,500. However, this individual might have just taken it upon himself to think that he could either pawn it or sell it on the black market. You just never know. And even if he had a family member that needed it, it still doesn't make it right. So, yeah, it doesn't sit well with us at all.